Tonight, dramatic new video of Chicago police pinning people down and struggling to quell massive Memorial Day crowds. Police say 53 people were arrested and nearby 3 teens were shot. This 24 hours after investigators say an 18-year-old plowed his car into a crowd of 5 officers, all now in fair condition. The teen charged with attempted murder. 2 so-called teen takeovers in 24 hours. A viral trend sweeping the nation with massive gatherings organized online and unleashed on unsuspecting communities coast to coast, often turning chaotic or violent. In Tampa, police body camera video shows massive fights amid a teen takeover earlier this month. Here, you see the mayhem from above. Authorities say 22 people were arrested as young as 12. Another brawl breaking out at this Chipotle in Washington, D.C. And outside Milwaukee, cars spinning out in this intersection.
Let me start by saying, I send my condolences to those who lost loved ones and a speedy recovery to those who were hurt during these dumbass events. Now,
the tank just keeps going, and it just gets worse. It doesn't get better. Next, we've been talking about teen takeovers.
Oh yeah.
So now, and I said something needs to be done. So finally, there's a state trying to put legislation on the books. Was it Judge Janine? That's her name, Jay? Judge Janine, who's the head of the,
Not Judy, right?
No, Janine Pirro, right? And she's the head of the D.C., whatever, top lawyer, whatever, DA assistant. No, she's the DA, district attorney.
Attorney General.
She said because what happened in D.C. was a street takeover. They had to enforce a curfew at 8 o'clock. And let's call what this teen takeover is. It's not a teen takeover. It is a black takeover. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
And let's address the elephant in the room, which is black fatigue. Black people are even saying, we black and we don't want to be around y'all ends.
Before I interrupt, let me see what this black man has to say about the framing of this Spaniard.
About what's happening in the culture and that you see all of these takeovers. From Long Branch, here in Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, Los Angeles, everywhere. Literally, it's been everywhere. You see teen takeovers. And I think that it's a reflection of the parenting within a culture. And they're right.
All right, let me stop us right there. You know, every time there's an issue concerning black Americans, whenever there's a group of teens that are caught on camera doing anything, it's never framed as a social media problem or city planning problem or a youth in general problem. It's always seen as a black people problem. Sometimes they'll call it a culture issue or a moral issue. When he says culture, he means black. He's just another way of saying black. Because he never says culture when it's white people. And the framing is not only wrong, but it's dangerous. Like he said, even black people are saying it's a problem. And he's already indicating that gives me a right to say what I'm about to say because even black people say it. So let's get into it. So today I'm going to break this down into 3 parts. The first part is the narrative part. That's what's actually happened versus what people think is happening or what they want to say is happening. Number 2, that's the historical context because this ain't new. This has been happening, right? We want to look at it historically to see, hey, why? Because this country's had youth chaos way before there was a TikTok or an Instagram, believe it or not. And third, we got to talk about some solutions. All this yipping and yapping. Let's talk about solutions. How do we fix it? Because these people that are condemning black culture and black teens and black parents and black civilization and black morality, at the end of it all, don't they want to fix the problem? Isn't it why they're talking about it? Because they're so concerned about people. You're right. See, that's the part they want to talk about least because it's the hardest. And it doesn't include scapegoating a whole group of people for clicks and views. Let's get one thing straight. This ain't a black moral issue. This is a social media issue. It's not a youth crisis. It's a social media crisis. Let me explain. When I say it's a city planning issue, what I mean by that is What are young people supposed to be doing? Since time immemorial, when children don't have things to do with their time, they will spend that time in bad ways. But every time a group of people, when they're black and they do something, it's time to look at the entire race of black people. Have you ever noticed when white individuals do things or a white group of people do things, no one looks at all of white society and say, hey, how do we fix all of white society? You'll never hear it. And you'll never hear these commentators say it. Never that. They're too busy hanging their USA flags in the backgrounds of their videos on their sets. See, they're not really concerned. That's their bias, dressed up in camouflage like it's concerned. We know the difference, right? I'm not going to make excuses for teens doing bad things, but you're not going to take a group of teens and then put that on the shoulders of 40 million black Americans. I'm not going to sit here and let you do it, because I didn't see 40 million black Americans out in the streets. I saw a group of teens out in the streets who probably lied to their parents about where they was going to be at and what they were going to be doing. Because see, when white teens flip cars after their favorite sports team wins, no one goes and says, hey, what is wrong with white culture? It's a moral failure of white parents. No one says that. They don't even say that when a white kid shoots up a school. They don't even say that when a white kid shoots up a supermarket. They don't say that when a white kid shoots up a black church. But look at them lining up to say it when some kids get together and act crazy in the street, driving cars or whatever the hell they were calling themselves doing. Not that it's okay, not that we shouldn't say wrong, bad, but we gotta see that this hypocrisy, only a blind man couldn't see the hypocrisy in this. See, when white kids act unruly in groups, it's just called kids being kids. When black kids act unruly in groups, it's seen as savages gone wild. What will they do next? It's the end of civilization, fam. The double standards are older than the internet. And it's time that we recognize it for what it is. There may be some of you who are brand new to the game and don't realize it's a game. But those that do, shame on your punk ass. Kids acting up, it's not new and it's not racial, fam. People act like this is some brand new discovery that's unique to only black youth, when it isn't. America has a long history of youth acting chaotic. And most of it wasn't black. In the 1950s, when it was white kids, they called it the juvenile delinquent crisis. In the 80s and the 90s, it was the white suburban mall riots. Yeah, every year there's college riots, overwhelmingly white, flipping cars, lighting trash cans on fire, burning couches. How many people remember Madhouse or Animal House? Porky's. See, in the 80s, they made movies about it. That's how popular it was. I want you to go back in the 80s, 90s, early 90s. Look for those movies that I'm talking about, kids. See how many black kids were in the movies. Because it was a white phenomenon. And America loved it. America loved it so much, it was just called being young and being white. Nobody blamed white culture. Nobody said that white families were failing. And nobody demanded congressional hearings. So why is it suddenly a moral failure or moral indictment when the kids are black? Because the problem isn't the kids. The problem is the lens that you see the kids through. See, if you want solutions, just start with the truth. Can't get to the bottom of it if you won't define the thing and see it for what it is. If you want fewer chaotic gatherings, you have to plan other alternatives that are fun, but not as dangerous, and don't result in the loss of life. Damn sure doesn't result in 5 cops getting hit by cars or 3 teens shot. Because see, at the end of the day, it's about the environment, not the music. They used to blame the music in the 70s and the 80s. They never blamed the white kids, just the music. Oh, and drugs. But when black kids do it, you don't blame the drugs, the music. We're the poor, we just blame the blackness. And it helps when you have blacks saying the same shit that racist Spaniards or white people say. You say environment, Tim, what happened to the environment? I'll tell you what they did. The cities closed the youth centers. Used to have a place where teens went. Now they don't exist so much. The schools are underfunded. Public places are policed instead of supported. Youth unemployment, sky high. You don't think some of these kids wish they were somewhere making money legally instead of out here hanging together broke on his corner? Yeah. And if you think they wouldn't rather be making some money, you need to check yourself on why you think that way. Feel me? And social media algorithms encourage chaos. They reward chaos with higher viewership. And everybody wants to be a star. All that together and you're surprised that teens are acting out. I'm surprised that you're surprised. People acting crazy gets the most views. And we're in a get views society, even for adults. And you're shocked they're performing for the only audience that they have, each other. Now, come on. We can talk accountability, but let's not be stupid. Let's look at reality for what it is. People want to be acknowledged. They want to be respected. They want to be feel like they're popular. And you get all of that from acting like an ass in your in-group. That's why people do it. But accountability without context is just blame. So we can put context around the reason to define the reason and not make the reason be because of the skin or because parents are this skin, that means they're not accountable. Or we can look at it and give it the context that's needed if we're really trying to solve the problem. Blame without trust is bigotry, no matter who's practicing it. That goes for Spanish guy, and that goes for whatever this guy, I forget his name. And if you think that I'm just talking, wait till we get to part 2. Because in part 2, I'm going to bring the numbers. I'm talking about the arrest data, the juvenile crime trends, the historical comparisons, all the receipts that prove this is not a black crisis. It's a social media accelerated reaction that is popping up all across the country. So stay tuned. And until then, pull your head out of your ass. Sellouts.
Catch Tim Black live on the most dangerous show in America, Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. Don't miss out on the real. Stay dangerous.